Hey there, Taurus. Welcome to your reading for, this is going to be a what moves can you make before the end of the year to get the most out of the rest of 2024, So that's what we're going to do. You have this Cancer card. It says, nurture all that you love. It says, take time to care for the well-beings and nurture the things that you love, which that's been coming up for you pretty much all year, so that makes perfect sense. You have this Path to Knowledge card. It says, you are on a journey into the realm of knowledge to assist in your personal growth. It is a great time for learning. I'm a big fan of learning for the earth signs in particular. So if you are learning anything new, or if you're thinking about learning new things, then now is definitely the time. If you're becoming interested in new topics as well, now would also be the time for education. So you start with the Ace of Pentacles, and apparently wrong camera, but you have the Ace of Pentacles, and the Ace of Pentacles is like a big new opportunity that you should take advantage of. These readings, you do have the Tower here, but again, these readings aren't necessarily meant to be positive or negative. They're really just pointing out, these are meant to represent what you need to take advantage of at this time, so I want to stress that. But you do have the Ace of Pentacles, and there could be some big opportunities or an opportunity that you could take advantage of at this time, and I would definitely look into it. If you're sitting there saying, well, what is the opportunity? I would say that it's probably your crossing energy. Your crossing energy is the Queen of Pentacles, and the crossing energy in a Celtic cross is meant to be something that either hurts you or helps you, and the Queen of Pentacles is about your resources or being resourceful. So the opportunity is probably something that you don't think you have the resources to do. So again, if you have an idea, a plan, a goal, a wish, a dream, something that you want to accomplish and you don't think you have the resources, Queen of Pentacles kind of says do it anyway and see what happens. Take the smallest step that you possibly can and go from there. And that's what I feel like the Queen of Pentacles is kind of talking about. There's this rabbit right here, and rabbits on the Queen of Pentacles can represent fear and anxiety. They can also represent things happening quickly, or leaps and bounds type energy. But like I said, the Celtic cross, the crossing energies can be what hurts you or helps you. So it's like you have a choice. You can live in fear and anxiety, or you can take your first step and probably surprise yourself how quickly you are able to accomplish something. And again, that's what I would focus on with the Queen of Pentacles. You have the Temperance card in the area of what's on your mind. I've seen a lot of temperance energy. I like the Temperance card. It's a card of patience. It's a card of alchemy, being able to turn, a negative into a positive. You can also turn a positive into a negative with the Temperance card. But kind of my intuition has been telling me that the Temperance card is saying that people might be trying to perfect something or get something to a perfect place before they start something. And, I feel one of my favorite books of all time, The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, is in that book, he says a lot of times people will say something like, oh, I'll wait till my kids go to college, or I'll wait, till I have $100 under my mattress, or I'll wait for this or that before I get started on something. And in that book, he says a lot of those, things are exactly the reason why you should get started right now. It's like if you start your business right now, it could benefit your family right now instead of waiting till they're out of, in college or something like that. It doesn't have to be a business. It could be whatever it is that you're thinking you're not ready for. And I feel this reading is kind of like saying, that you're ready. You have the Five Wands in the area of your foundation. The Five Wands can be conflict or competition. I think it would be an amazing time to learn from competition, but really the energy that I'm getting here, and I'm pretty sure that I said this in your October monthly reading, maybe, I'm pretty sure it was you, Taurus. It just seems to me like it's talking about focus, The Five of Wands can be conflict that you create. It can be that you are doing too much, or that you're trying to do too much all at once, and I feel like that's what needs to come to an end. We even go up to Ten of Swords to the Nine of Swords here. Nine of Swords is a never-ending nightmare. It's like a round-and-round cycle. It's like a round-and-round situation that isn't coming to an end. And so I feel for a lot of you that, that this is saying if you feel like you're repeating something, or if if you're having conflict because something is repeating in your life, I kind of feel like focusing in is going to help you the most instead of spreading yourself too thin. That's really the feeling that I'm getting off of this Five of Wands, is just, it's not really saying conflict or competition. I think it's more saying that you are spread too thin, or you're like trying to do too much or something. Next, in the past position, you have this moonflower. It says take a risk. You also have this domicile moon. It says abundance on it. So this is coming up in your past position. But that doesn't mean that it couldn't be happening right now. I think that maybe you've been thinking about going on an adventure because you have that Path to Knowledge card, which talks about journeying into the realm of knowledge. And you have the Knight of Wands, and the Knight of Wands is very adventurous. So there could be an adventure that you're going on that could be creating a lot of abundance for you. And the thing with the Knight of Wands is that he doesn't really know very much about the adventure he's going on. We have these three pyramids right down here. And the three pyramids on the Knight of Wands kind of represent mystery. He has to embrace the mystery of the journey that he is going on, and he has to do it anyway. And things will never be perfect, just like the Temperance card says. So I think that it's time for you to kind of take the risk of, kind of focusing in on one thing, which I think would be much more beneficial for you. And that's what I would do with the Knight of Wands, is go on an adventure. Next, in the area of your very near future, you have this Carp card. It says advantages, keen-mindedness, and longevity. You have this Blue Heron. It says diplomacy, peacemaking, and positive omens. So what I would say is that Uranus and Taurus has somewhat of a focus on longevity. It's like, that Taurus energy wants things that are long-term, that are, also like purpose-built in our life, that have a purpose. So again, if we're just like wasting our time and not very focused on a project, for example, and there isn't a clear vision on where it's going, then things are just not going to work very well. If we're focused on longevity, if we're focused on building something long-term that's going to last for a long time, and there's a purpose behind it, then things will go very, very well for us. I do feel like this could be a positive omen. Again, we do have some challenging cards here, but again, like I said, this reading is more an advice reading. It's not meant to be a positive or negative reading. It's meant to tell you what to do at the end of the year here. And so I wouldn't worry too much about that. But what I would say is I think that, focusing on purpose, the purpose of what you're doing is going to be important. And again, if you are in the Five of Wands energy and you're conflicted because you're doing too much and you're spread too thin, then I think you need to look at the purpose behind the things that you're doing. Like, what's it going to lead to? If you're working on 10 different projects, it's like, which projects have the best chances of success, or which ones are actually going to lead to something. Same thing with love. Like, maybe you're dating and you're like meeting people, but it's like, which people seem like they have a purpose, right? And that's what I would focus on here. The Heron is also a card of self-reliance. So in a lot of ways, I feel that it is a time where Taurus is maybe focusing on saving themselves. And I'm not saying that you need to be saved, but I'm just saying, like, anything that you need to help, any help you need might be coming from yourself. That doesn't mean people can't help you either. You have the Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords says something is dead, done, over with in your life. So again, there's probably something coming to an end. Again, if you're spread too thin, then you're probably focusing in and cutting some things out. So, again, the Ten of Swords is a blessing in disguise. He's making this symbol right here with his hand, and it's the same symbol that the Hierophant is making. So, to me, the Ten of Swords can say that there's some sort of blessing in disguise, or there just is a blessing coming in. And it could also be, again, if you're spread too thin, and obviously if you focus, it's going to feel like a blessing because you're going to have more time to yourself. You're going to be able to focus on yourself more, and you're not going to be so spread out. And so, that's going to be a blessing in itself, and I would definitely recommend it. In your last row, you have this card. It says a time for healing, which, kind of makes sense. And you also have this full moon in Capricorn. It says the end of a tough cycle approaches. So, exactly like what I was saying on that Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is always a cycle. It's always something that we're repeating, or there's always part of our story that we're repeating with the Nine of Swords. And it looks to me like that is coming to an end. In the area of the next few months, you have the Chariot. The Chariot could be travel, and we do see some adventure here. The other thing about the Tower is that the Tower can just represent a move. You have the Knight of Wands, the Chariot, and the Tower. This could just be you moving or traveling. So for a lot of you, this could just be like moving or traveling. This could also be a victory that's coming in for you. And again, I think that you will have a victory if you focus and, on one thing that is working. The other thing is that you might have to, sometimes it's not good enough to just like focus on what you're doing. Sometimes you have to mix things up or try different things. And, I don't really feel this in your reading, but what I would say is that sometimes I feel the Five of Wands says you need to look at the competition and look at what they're not doing, or look at some of the things that they are doing. And it's not about comparing yourself to the competition, but it's about, learning from the competition. So I kind of feel with that Five of Wands could also be saying that for you to have a victory, that learning from the competition would be very beneficial. Next, in the area of your closest relationships, you have the Six of Pentacles. Everybody seems to be going through this right now. Like Six of Pentacles is, equal give and take. It can be breadcrumbing energy, but it can also be you deciding who to give your energy to and who not to give your energy to. So, like I said, if you're working on a million different things, you could be deciding. This is the area of all relationships. So that could include your relationship to the things that you work on. And again, it just seems to me like you're giving more to the things that matter, and you're pulling your energy away from things that maybe aren't cutting it, or just a distraction, or are just busy work as well. And, again, that's what I would focus on with this Six of Pentacles, is kind of like creating that balance. And that's really it. Next, in the area of the future feelings, you have the Nine of Swords. So again, with the Nine of Swords, I would choose to get out of the bed. The Nine of Swords has had a nightmare, and he's woken up and he's stuck in a nightmare. And he has this comfort blanket on his lap right here. And the comfort blanket kind of gives him comfort. The comfort blanket has a bunch of these astrological symbols all over it, and it represents all the things that he has been through in life, all the different like astrological transits and all the things he's learned from those transits. So it's meant to give him comfort, because it's saying like he's in a difficult period of time in his life, but he has learned a lot. So again, I feel a lot of you need to look at all the things that you've learned. I definitely feel like you're ready to change your story, just in general in your life. So it wouldn't really surprise me if you were just ready to change your story. You have the Tower. The Tower can be a Tower moment, but the Tower can also be coming down to reality. I kind of feel like this is you accepting the reality of being spread too thin or doing too much, and needing to draw your focus into one thing. So I don't really see this as like a bad Tower moment. And again, that's not the intention of these readings. Again, they're not meant to be more like predictive. They're meant to say, hey, this is what you need to work on before the end of the year. So to work on the Tower, it's about accepting reality, looking at the reality of your situation. Again, these people have built the walls up around them too high, and they are ignoring reality. So the universe is causing a Tower moment so that they can be brought back down to reality. Again, I think when we fill our day up with too much, or we are spread too thin, then we can definitely not see reality. There's too much stuff that's distracting us. And I get the feeling from this reading that it really is saying, like, I'm not saying you're doing this on purpose, but, again, it kind of is saying that maybe you've been distracting yourself from reality without even realizing it, by doing too much, right? And so that seems to be what's going on here. But we're going to clarify, and we are going to see what the cards have to say here. That didn't work. So let's give that another shuffle. But you have, with the Queen of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles, you have the Emperor. Yeah, this would be about like really grabbing on to something and really making something happen. The Emperor is in control. He's also ready at a moment's notice. He has his armor on underneath his cloak. So when he's presented with an opportunity like the Ace of Pentacles, he kind of will take it and run with it. He's not, sitting around wondering if he should accept this opportunity or not. He just kind of grabs onto it and he makes it happen. And so I think that's important. I also think he's very focused as well. So like I was saying here, that focus seems to be like very important for you. And I think being focused on the things that you're doing or the things that you're working on is going to help you the most. So, again, I would take control with the Emperor by being focused is, kind of what he's saying in this reading. With the Temperance card, you have the Two of Cups, two cups being mixed together on the Temperance card. And then we have the Two of Cups right here. This definitely could be a love connection, but the Two of Cups is you and your higher self. And this is showing up in the area of what's on your mind or in the area of your thoughts. So I feel for a lot of you that you could be just mentally connecting with your higher self. You could be thinking about love or, wondering about love as well with that energy. But it's like just a thought is what that would say. But you could be thinking about a person. With the Five of Wands, you have the Justice card. Can't make that up, right? The Five of Wands is where I said that you need to focus. And the Justice card is all about balance. So something definitely needs to be brought into balance. Again, your reading's very simple. I mean, everybody else had like a million things that they could work on. And your reading is, very focused. It is kind of like saying that making sure that you're not spreading yourself thin and making sure that you're creating balance is going to be the best thing that you could do at the end of the year. Probably will lead to the best, benefits or, the most success. So that's what I would focus on if I were you. The other thing is that I would accept like a neutral position. It is popping into my head. Like sometimes I think we see what the competition is doing, in work, business, whatever, and we think to ourselves, there's no way that could work. But you never know. So again, even if you don't think something could work to improve anything in your life, I would just be trying things. Again, we have all these cards of knowledge and learning and mystery with the Knight of Wands. So it kind of says to me that like experimentation or trying new things would be a good idea, even if you don't think it works. With the Knight of Wands, you have the Queen of Wands. Yeah, it's very similar. I look at these two as very similar. The Queen of Wands needs to be bold, assertive. She needs to, work towards the sun. She has a sunflower right here, and the sun is her happiness, and that's the thing that will make her the most successful, is if she kind of moves towards her own joy and happiness. So, and, here you go. You have this card that says, nurture all that you love, and so doing the things you love is going to be important. With the Ten of Swords, yes, something is definitely leaving your life or going out of your life. You have the Death card. So the Death card can represent kind of like the death of establishment. The King is dead underneath the Death Rider here. And it just says that even kings die. Even things that we think are going to last forever, sometimes they don't. Or, it doesn't even have to mean that they're dying. It just means that, sometimes things undergo a transformation. And the transformation could be good, could be a good thing. It's like, if you're on a hamster wheel in a relationship and it's just like the same every single day and it gets boring and you want to leave, then obviously that's not a good thing. So sometimes if you're in a situation, a relationship where every day is the same, the transformation can be a good thing. It could be you improving a relationship or improving your business by mixing things up and evolving. And so I think that would be a good thing for you as well. With the Chariot, you have the Knight of Pentacles. Something that you're thinking about like needs to take off is kind of what this is saying to me. Like if you have this plan, I think you need to allow the plan to develop. The Knight of Pentacles is being too cautious, and he's playing it safe. He's not taking the risk of planting seeds in this field behind him. Everything about the Knight of Pentacles represents knowledge and wisdom. He has these oak leaves on his helmet, and he also has oak leaves right here on the horse. And the oak leaves in the tarot basically say that he knows everything he needs to know to plant these fields and be successful, but to make progress, he has to go plant the fields. So a lot of you could be like focusing in on one project, but it's like maybe you have other things that you're working on in life that are also producing a result. But I feel you need to kind of like go all in on one thing. With the Six of Swords, you have the Ace of Cups. Definitely could be a love offer coming in for you. This is coming up in the area of your closest relationships. So if you're hoping for a connection or if you're hoping to meet a new person, the Ace of Cups is your emotions overflowing, being very happy. And so there definitely could be a new connection. With the Nine of Swords, you have the Fool. Yes, like get up out of the bed and take a leap of faith. Like I don't even think, it's kind of like a weird reading because it is saying like focus in, but you have all these things that would kind of represent a new beginning, right? But what I would argue here, Taurus, is that the Tower. The Tower, can kind of be a new beginning on something that you've already been working on, because the Tower gets reduced down to its foundation, and then we always rebuild the Tower back from its foundation. We always hopefully rebuild it stronger. And so if a lot of you, if you're like going back to the drawing board, or if you're, focusing in on one project and maybe you're evolving it, this could say that there is kind of a new beginning on something old that you've already been working on. But I would, take the leap of faith. It could also just be that to change your story, you have to stop doing too much and you have to like not micromanage things and just do one thing. With the Tower, you have the Queen of Swords. Yeah, I mean, the Tower definitely brings in great clarity, right? The Queen of Swords is all about clarity, and the Queen of Swords sees things clear for the first time. So, the Tower, they're being brought down to reality, and it's almost like you are seeing the reality of your situation. You have this Sun card. It says happiness and well-being. So again, like I said, wouldn't even worry about the Tower. I feel like the Tower, like I said, is more about maybe you going back to the drawing board, or kind of reinventing something that you've already been working on because maybe it's not working, or maybe everything that you're doing isn't working. Readings like this kind of give me the vibe of reclaiming your time as well. So if you're giving your time to too many things in life, then again, you're maybe not paying attention to what's important, and reclaiming your time probably will make you more happy as well. You have this Dolphin card that says financial gain, usually coming from something you did in the past. I would say that, like I said, it's like you've been doing something all along, and I feel like this card could be saying that you focusing in on that one thing that you've been doing instead of 900 things will be the thing that improves your finances, and that's what I would do. You have this funnel. It says period of frustration, lessons to be learned. Yeah, I think the more spread out you are, the more frustrated you're going to be based off this reading. So again, like focusing in is going to be the thing that helps the most. You have this Apple card. It says temptation will test you. I feel like there could be all sorts of temptations, all sorts of shiny objects popping up in your life. And again, like I said, I would say, pick one thing and accomplish it before the end of the year. And, I would also say if you have like Aries in your chart, I would go watch the Aries reading because the Aries reading was like kind of similar to this one. And, it just popping into my head that it was kind of similar. So you might want to check that out. You have this Vulture card. It says depression, anxiety, worry that someone is against you. Again, this can come, when we are too spread out, when our energy is too scattered, we can start worrying about things. But really, it's just because our energy is scattered. It's because we're not focused. So a very simple reading here, Taurus. I actually like it because of that. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.